Hi, welcome back to Hollywood Studios. I'm here today in my studio, and I wanted to talk to you today about sourcing images. I get a lot of questions. One main question that I get is, where do you get your images from? There's no simple answer to that. It's just I have sourced images for years. I have them saved in files on my computer. And as most of you know, I deal with mostly glamorous Hollywood imagery, and particularly imagery that is from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, even 60s, and sometimes some modern people. But most of the time, I like to keep it in that super early range. Now, there's benefits to that. There are copyrights and things like that, but I don't want to get into like the legal aspects of photography and using images so much, because we're doing fine art. We are making one of a kinds. We are not mass producing things. So when it comes to copyright and imagery usage, I don't find it's an issue. Now, if you're a legal expert, then I'm sure you'll weigh in and explain to me your knowledge. But truth is, I've been doing this for a long time. I see other artists that have been doing this since the 60s, pop imagery, Andy Warhol, the list goes on with other artists, but really it comes down to taking an image and making it your own creatively, to not just take a great photograph that someone else took and gluing it down to canvas and adding a little glitter. Now that's not doing it justice. My criteria for puppy, hey Waffles, come here. My criteria for using photography personally is I like to take that photograph and I like to change it so much that it's almost completely different, if not 80% different by the time I'm done with it. And there's ways to do this. There's ways to change the photography, but I really don't want to get into the technicalities of it. I'm just here to help you find inspiration, and I'm going to give you a few tips to where I find images. Main source for me is Google Images. So if I go to Google and I type in Audrey Hepburn, for instance, you're going to get a lot of photographs of her instantly through Google Images. So you go under Google, and instead of searching all, you search images. And I'm sorry if that seems like very elementary for some of you for me to explain that, but you'd be surprised, this could be very helpful for someone who's trying to find images online. I also look for large images that are big enough that when I print them out, they're not all pixeled or grainy. I personally like to take the photography and turn it black and white and work from black and white. Of course, you can print in color. And there's different types of way that you could render that photograph. You could take it into Photoshop. You can change up the pixels or the colors or the saturation or the contrast. That's a whole skill set that you would have to learn through Photoshop. I'm not a Photoshop expert. I use it, the very basic tools for altering images when I do find them. So Google Images is a great source. There are some websites that just deal in beautiful black and white photography. And I'm going to put a few of those in the source notes for this video, so you can also, hey, come here. This is Waffles. Say hi. Say hello, everybody. I'm such a sweet little boy. He's a brand new puppy, and I'm trying to get him accustomed to the studio. But he's doing well. But he's a puppy. He's biting and he's peeing everywhere, and we're trying to house train this pup. And he's bored. He wants to play. So Google Images. The other place that I like to look for images is in fashion magazines. And okay, there's some fashion magazines out there, as you know, and lots of beautiful photography. But again, if you're using images in these magazines, make sure you're just doing an original piece inspired from that photograph, or if you're going to just straight up use the photograph, make sure you're changing it at least 30 to 50% to make it yours. And when in doubt, you can always, when you go to title the work, you can credit the photographer. That's always a wonderful thing that I'm sure many photographers would appreciate. What I would not recommend is going out and making 1,000 t-shirts using that image. I think that's completely not okay. So magazines are a great source. You can even photograph with your iPhone a picture of that. If you don't want to tear the sheet out, the magazine sheet out, and you need it larger, you can enlarge it. Photograph it with your iPhone or your smartphone and upload the image and print it out at FedEx or Staples in a larger format. The other source, sometimes I use my own photography. I'm photographed, people. I'm traditionally a portrait artist. I've been trained in oil painting, very traditionally, to paint from life. We used to have models in the studio, but ouch, eating. You have to go down if you're gonna bite. Okay, God, this puppy is killing me. But those are just a few things I wanted to share with you as far as sourcing images and the do's and don'ts when making original artwork. Always credit the photographer when possible, and change it up. Just change it, make it your own. That could be with reversing the image, flipping it around, a mirror style, with saturation and color, and then change up their clothing. What I mean by that is I have actually an example right here of let's see this one. This is a print of an image of the original's gone, but this is one that I did of Courtney Love, and I used her face. Of course, I changed her makeup completely and changed her clothes. I added accessories, and she wasn't really wearing this in the photograph, and I probably even flipped it around the other way. But I completely changed her character, changed everything about it, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So that's one thing that you can do. Here's another example. This is an image of Marlon Brando, and he's not wearing this jacket in real life. I probably put like Alexander McQueen or something like that. I don't remember what I did, added jewelry and things. So, and I even probably flipped the image around backwards and, changed it that way. So it's really cool to, why would you want to take a photograph that somebody did? It's already a great photograph, and just put it down on canvas and just add a couple of things to it. Like, that's not creative. That's not thinking outside the box. And it's basically just stealing from the photographer. So, those are just a couple examples. Like I said, I'll put some notes in the description of this video so you'll have reference. And let me know how it goes, and hope to see you in the next video. All right, guys, be creative, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.